Hey, what's going on, guys? And my name is Seth. I own averageotakugames.com, AO Games for short. And today we're going to be talking about the new reveals from the glory of Team Rocket. So if you don't know, or you already know, Glory to Team Rocket was given some leaks this morning / last night, depending on your time zone, around 10 p.m. PST, 1 a.m. EST on pokebeach.com. If you guys aren't familiar with PokeBeach, one of the best news sites for Pokemon-related news and updates. And today we're going to be going over about what is shown. Now, not only do we have a pack art, which looks great, by the way, but we also got some cards. And, you know, today I'm not just going to be highlighting the collectability. I want to talk about kind of the TCG side of things and how good are these cards and what it's going to mean for the meta moving forward. So, because there's only a few cards revealed, we're going to touch on the collector's side first, just because we can get that over a bit quicker. First, I'm going to show you guys the Mewtwo EX. Now, I should specify this is Team Rocket's Mewtwo, so it is a trainer's Pokemon. And, you know, we're going to come back to this card because it is rather interesting. Second up, we have Team Rocket's Meowth, which, base version here, IR version here. Now, obviously, the IR looks fantastic. I think a lot of people are going to really want this card. The nostalgia factor is definitely hitting with Giovanni in the background, and Meowth just being, you know, a normal cat. And then one more card for collectability's sake. It is still base rarity, but we have Team Rocket's Persian EX, which I'm going to pop up right here. Now, this card, obviously another owner Pokemon. It is a stage 1. And then, you know, we're going to come back and talk about this one as well for the TCG playability. For now, I'm going to go ahead and pop up all of the other cards that were revealed on the screen. Now, as you guys could see, we had the Tarantula, the Spidops, the Porygon. You know, we got some item cards in there, and then we also got some trainers as well. As you can see, this is really the first reveals, so we're not getting too much, but we are getting a hint of, you know, what we're going to see in this set. Now we're going to dive into the TCG aspect here, and the first card I really want to touch on here is Team Rocket's Energy. It is a special energy, and it states, as long as this card is attached to any Pokemon, it provides 2 in any combination of P energy and D energy. Now, this seems like it's going to be a callback to the previous R energy, and it's going to be kind of a play on words for Team Rocket Pokemon. The beginning also states that this card can only be attached to a Team Rocket's Pokemon. If this card is attached to anything other than a Team Rocket's Pokemon, discard this card. So very obviously, you can only use this in tandem with Team Rocket Pokemon. Now, next up, I'm going to touch on our first trainer card here. Supporter Team Rocket's Giovanni. Now, this card is seemingly very good. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Team Rocket Pokemon, and if you do, then switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. So essentially, if you are using a Team Rocket deck, this will work like Prime Catcher. And if you guys are familiar with Prime Catcher is one of the most used, you know, some people even call it overpowered aspects in the current meta. It is a very good card. Now, to have that and be using it as a supporter seems pretty wild for me. Next up, we're going to be talking about Team Rocket's Archer. Now, this card states you can play this card only if any of your Team Rocket's Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then you draw 5 and your opponent draws 3. Now, this kind of works as a control card in a sense. I want to say it works very similar to Roxanne in a sense where, you know, prerequisites must be met and then you will be able to draw more cards and your opponent draws less. It's great for mid to late game. Next up, we're going to be talking about Team Rocket's Ariana. Draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If all your Pokemon in play are Rocket's Pokemon, draw until you have 8 instead. Now, this card doesn't seem super overpowered. I mean, if you are playing a Team Rocket deck, we don't know all of the cards that are coming out, but most of the time you're not using all of the same type of Pokemon. You know, if there happens to be a deck that is really good where you are using all Team Rocket Pokemon, then this card will be a valuable asset. Outside of that, I don't really think this card will see too much play. Next up, we're going to be talking about Team Rocket's Receiver. Search your deck for a supporter card with Rocket in its name, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Now, great item to pair with Team Rocket's Giovanni. You know, if you're looking for, you know, that switch and the boss, you know. Another really good play for if you are looking for control, you know, to pull out that Team Rocket's Arthur. or Archer, I'm sorry. And, you know, it's a good card. I don't think it's going to be great, but it's definitely maybe like a 1-2 of in a deck. I don't see many people running, you know, 4 of in their deck, but pretty solid card for, you know, some assistance. All right, so here I'm going to touch on the playability for the cards. First, we're going to talk about Team Rocket's Meowth. Now, essentially, this card is going to be your, you know, your basic, you know, kind of starter. If you really need, you know, some type of attacker to, you know, maybe do a little bit extra damage on that, you know, first attacking turn, you know, it's okay there. But then it evolves to stage 1 for Persian. Now, we have Haughty Orders. Your opponent reveals the top 10 cards of their deck. You may choose an attack from a Pokemon you find there and use it as this attack. Your opponent shuffles the revealed cards back to their deck. Now, this only requires 2 colorless energy. This could be a good tech card, I could say, against, you know, certain decks, but it doesn't seem all that great to begin with. It is a 260 stage 1, you know, 260 health as a stage 1, you know, pretty standard, on the lower end of standard, but, you know, it's okay, it's okay. The second attack, 3 colorless energy for 140 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused, and you know, that's all it does. And again, seems like an okay card, nothing too great, maybe a tech 1, if you're running that Meowth, you know, nothing too crazy. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Porygon line. So, Team Rocket's Porygon. You know, again, basic, discard one card from your hand, then your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. That is the first attack, 1 colorless energy to do that. You know, nothing really special there. Pretty basic. Then it evolves into Porygon 2. 3 colorless energy. Control R. 20 times damage. This attack does 20 damage for each supporter in your discard pile with the Team Rocket in the same. Now, if you are stacking, you know, Team Rocket supporters, I could see that, you know, pairing well maybe with Brilliant Blender, you know, something along that line. Does it seem great? No. But I think here's where you get your use out of this line is that evolves to a stage 2 Porygon Z. Ability, Reconstitute. You must discard 2 cards from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw a card. Now, that doesn't sound great, but it could pair well with the attack, which is essentially the same attack as the Porygon 2. However, it requires 1 less colorless energy. So instead of 3, it is 2 colorless energy, 20 times damage for each supporter in the discard pile. So you discard your supporters, you draw the card, and your attack does a little bit more damage. I wouldn't really see this as an amazing card to use, but I could see it having some play in some scenarios. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about Team Rocket's Tarantula. Basic card, 50 health, takedown is its attack, 30 damage. This Pokemon also does 10 damage to itself. Basic, you know, nothing great there. But where we really find the play out of this line is Team Rocket Spidops. Stage 1, ability, charge up. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. The attack is a grass energy and a colorless energy, Rocket Rush, 30 times damage. This attack does 30 damage for each of your Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. Now, I don't think the attack is great. However, the ability is very good, and I think we're not going to be attaching grass energy to this Pokemon. Now, let me explain why. Hold on to that thought. We're going to be rolling over to Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. All right, now this Pokemon is pretty special. It is a basic Pokemon with 280 health. That is very large for a basic type. Ability, Power Saver. This Pokemon can't attack unless you have 4 or more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. I think that will be pretty easy to attain in a deck like this, especially with all the supporters that you really want to run in this deck. Now, the attack, Psychic, Colorless, Deletion Sphere, 160 plus damage. You may discard up to 2 energy from your benched Pokemon. This attack does 60 more damage for each card discarded in this way. So you have the ability to do a max of 280 damage, which is a pretty key number here. I think post-row we're going to see a lot of Raging Bolt, and that's really good. That's really good. You need 3 energy, and you're going to be discarding energy from your benched Pokemon. Now, what that means is every turn, if you have Rocket's Tarantula set up, then you're guaranteed to do 220 each turn. All you really need to do is then attach one if you really want to do that 280. I think the only real hurdle with this deck then is one, finding the Pokemon you need, which generally isn't too hard. You really just need to mill through the deck and find what you need, whether it's Ultra Ball to find whatever it is. Nest Ball, get that Rocket's Mewtwo, but you need the Ultra Ball for the Spidops. So outside of that, the only really hurdle is that the attack requires 3 energy. I think that this can be solved in a few different ways. I don't think it's a huge hurdle. So where that really takes me is that this deck, seemingly, with the first few cards that we are really getting, seems like it's going to be a pretty good deck and a good switch up to the meta. For my collectors that are still here, again, if you guys have never played the TCG, definitely give it a chance. It's super fun, super addicting. You get to create a community with people in your area by playing at your LGS. Travel around for regionals, for Worlds. Worlds is a great experience. Really hoping I get the lottery ticket to go to this year's. Would love to make it out this year. That's it for today. These are the first sneak peeks at the glory of Team Rocket. What's to come in Destined Rivals, which is our next English set. And if you guys have any more questions about current meta or any other questions in general, and you want my take, make sure to comment down below. Make sure to drop that like, and if you aren't already subscribed, please click that subscribe button. See you guys in the next one.